Hey everybody, and welcome back to Arena of Wisdom's book review time. We're diving deep today into Never Split the Difference
Oh, yeah.
by Chris Voss.
This is a good one.
Yeah, former FBI hostage negotiator.
You know what really struck me about this book?
Right,
Was that Voss doesn't just, recount daring hostage rescues,
right.
but he actually extracts practical negotiation strategies from those situations that we can all use.
And it's not every day that we get to learn from an FBI hostage negotiator.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
And it's like, how often do we get that behind-the-scenes peek into, the FBI's tactics?
And what I think is so cool is that
Yeah.
he takes it from these high-stakes situations and applies it
Right.
to everyday life.
Totally.
Like dealing with a tough client or even negotiating bedtime with your toddler.
Oh, yeah, it really is. I mean, what's fascinating is that Voss actually challenges the traditional win-win approach to negotiation
Right?
that a lot of us are used to. And
Right.
he actually points out that, fixating on logic and rationality can sometimes backfire.
But
at
we're not
times.
always logical creatures, are we?
Well, humans are emotional creatures.
That's so true.
Right?
How many times have we made a decision
Yeah.
based on gut feeling rather than pure logic?
I think Voss understands that inherent human element and actually uses that to his advantage.
Okay, so how does he do that?
So he calls it tactical empathy.
Okay,
And it's all about understanding and influencing
Mhm.
your counterpart's emotions.
okay.
So, think about it. When
Yeah.
you really feel like you're heard and
Yep.
understood,
Mhm.
you're more likely to be open to what the other person is saying.
That makes total sense.
Right.
So it's like you're building a bridge of understanding instead of just butting heads.
Exactly.
But I do have a question.
Yeah.
Doesn't that kind of seem
Yeah.
manipulative a little bit?
That's where the tactical part comes in.
Okay.
So it's not about faking empathy.
Okay.
It's about genuinely trying to see things from the other person's perspective
Mhm.
and using that understanding to guide the conversation.
So it's more about strategic listening
Yeah.
than emotional manipulation.
Exactly.
Right, so-
Voss argues that traditional negotiation tactics that rely on logic alone often miss this crucial emotional layer.
Okay, so emotions are key.
Yeah.
He even went so far as to take a negotiation class at Harvard Law School
He did.
to test out his theory.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. And it was caught by no less than the authors of Getting to Yes,
Wow.
Roger Fisher and William Hurry.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, but instead of a calm academic discussion,
Yeah.
they threw him right into a mock kidnapping scenario.
What?
They said, "We've got your son, give us $1 million or he dies."
Oh, my God.
Talk about trial by fire.
Yeah, even in a role-playing setting, I can imagine,
Yeah,
the adrenaline,
totally.
you know?
So what did he learn from this?
Yeah, what did he learn?
It really solidified his belief that emotions
Okay.
plays a huge role in decision-making.
Mhm.
And he draws on the work of Daniel Kahneman,
Okay.
who's a Nobel Prize-winning psychologist,
Wow.
who showed that our brains are wired to take mental shortcuts,
Mm-hmm.
and this leads to irrational decisions,
Okay.
even when we think we're being logical.
We're all just walking bundles of cognitive biases,
Yeah,
just waiting to be
right.
exploited by a skilled negotiator.
Well, Voss is giving us the tools
Okay, good.
to navigate this emotional landscape.
Okay, that makes me feel better.
Yeah.
Now I'm interesting.
And one of his most surprising tactics is the power of no.
So wait a minute.
Yeah.
The goal of negotiation is to get to yes.
You would think so, right?
Right.
But Voss argues that embracing no can actually be more effective.
Okay, my brain is starting to hurt a little bit.
Okay.
Can you unpack that for me?
Yeah, so think about it when someone forces a yes out of you.
Yeah.
Do you really feel good about it?
No, not really.
Or do you feel pressured and maybe a little resentful?
Yeah, kind of.
A genuine no, on the other hand,
Yeah.
be liberating.
Okay, so you're giving them a sense of control
Yeah.
and autonomy
Precisely.
by allowing them to say no.
It creates this feeling of psychological safety,
Right.
which can make them more open to further discussion.
Okay.
It's about acknowledging their reservations and working with them, not against them.
No is not a roadblock.
Yeah.
It's like a stepping stone.
Exactly.
Okay.
Voss even shares a personal anecdote about this.
Okay.
When he wanted to join the FBI's crisis negotiation team,
Okay.
the head of the team, Amy Bondurant,
Mm-hmm.
kept telling him no.
She shut him down.
Yeah?
That's a bold move.
But her repeated no's
Yeah.
weren't rejections, they were challenges.
Okay.
They forced Voss to dig deeper, articulate his motivations, and ultimately prove his commitment.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, her no's led him to valuable experiences like volunteering at a suicide hotline,
Wow.
which shaped his career.
Okay.
and made him a better negotiator.
That's incredible.
It
It's
is.
like those no's were hidden gifts pushing him towards his true path.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And Voss argues that we should embrace no in our own negotiations.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a sign of failure,
Okay.
but an opportunity to understand the other person's perspective
Mm-hmm.
and find a solution that truly works for everyone.
So next time someone hits me with a no,
Yeah,
I shouldn't just
right.
get discouraged.
Yeah.
I should see it as a chance to reframe the conversation.
Exactly. Dig a little deeper and maybe uncover some hidden opportunities.
I like that.
Yeah.
Uncover some hidden opportunities.
And speaking of uncovering hidden opportunities,
Yes.
Voss introduces another powerful tool,
Okay.
tactical empathy.
Tactical empathy. This is where it gets really interesting.
It does.
What does Voss have to say about this?
So he breaks tactical empathy down into a few key techniques.
Okay.
One of the most intriguing is mirroring.
Mirroring. Like looking in a mirror.
Not quite. Mirroring in negotiation involves simply repeating back the last few words of what someone says.
Okay.
It seems simple,
Yeah.
but it's incredibly powerful.
I can see how that would work.
Yeah.
Because it shows you're paying attention
Yeah.
and trying to understand their point of view.
Right.
It's like saying, I hear you,
Exactly.
without actually saying it.
You got it. And Voss masterfully used this technique in a bank robbery standoff.
Oh, wow.
With a robber named Bobby.
Was this the standoff where the robber had stashed cash inside the bank walls?
It was.
And was burning piles of money?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. That was chaotic.
It was Bobby's partner, Chris Watts, was quite a character.
Yeah.
But in the midst of this tense situation,
Yeah.
Voss used mirroring to connect with Bobby and de-escalate things.
So instead of trying to reason with a clearly agitated robber,
Right.
he mirrored his words to establish a connection.
It's about meeting people where they are emotionally,
Okay.
not where you want them to be.
So it's like validation.
Exactly.
It's like saying your feelings are valid and I'm here to listen.
Exact. And this validation can be incredibly disarming.
Exact.
Especially in a high-stakes situation like a hostage negotiation.
Totally.
It creates a space for dialogue and opens the door to finding a peaceful resolution.
Okay, this is so interesting.
Right.
It's like you're giving us a secret decoder ring for human behavior.
It is.
I'm really starting to get into this.
There's more. He goes beyond mirroring.
Okay.
It introduces another powerful technique called labeling.
Labeling.
Yeah.
Okay, intrigue me.
Labeling involves explicitly acknowledging the other person's emotions.
Okay.
You're essentially giving a name to what they're feeling.
Okay.
For example, instead of saying calm down,
Right.
you might say, it sounds like you're feeling frustrated.
Okay.
Right.
So you're verbalizing the emotion
Yeah.
to make the other person feel seen and heard.
Exactly. Oh, and Voss gives a great example of how this works.
Okay.
Less dramatic setting.
Yeah.
He tells the story of TJ,
Okay.
who was a ticket salesman who struggled to collect payments from delinquent ticket holders.
Okay.
And his initial approach was impersonal and focused on demanding payment,
Yeah.
which wasn't very effective.
I can imagine.
So Voss helped him rewrite his script
Okay.
to incorporate empathy and acknowledge the fan's potential financial difficulties. So instead of saying, you owe us money,
Right.
he said something like, it sounds like you're going through some tough times right now.
That's so much better.
It is.
Yeah.
It shows compassion and understanding.
Right. And did it work?
It made a world of difference.
Wow.
By labeling their emotions, TJ created a sense of understanding and opened the door to finding a solution.
Wow.
He was able to set up payment plans and salvage those relationships.
Wow.
All thanks to a simple shift in his language.
That's incredible.
It is.
How just a small change in communication
Yeah.
can have a huge impact.
Yeah. Right. And that's one of the brilliant things about Voss's approach.
Yeah.
He takes these complex psychological concepts and distills them into practical tools that anyone can use.
I love that.
Yeah.
So now we have mirroring labeling.
Uh-huh.
And I think he also talks about calibrated questions.
He does.
But before we get into that,
Yeah.
if you are finding this deep dive into Never Split the Difference,
Yeah.
as fascinating as we are,
It is.
don't forget to hit that subscribe button
Yes.
for more insightful book reviews from Arena of Wisdom.
Absolutely. And we are back delving deeper into the world of Never Split the Difference.
Yes.
With Chris Voss.
Okay.
We were just about to unpack his concept of calibrated questions.
Calibrated questions? Okay.
Which is another powerful tool in his negotiation arsenal.
It sounds very strategic.
It is.
Like you're carefully calculating
Yeah.
each word.
The beauty of calibrated questions is that they subtly guide your counterpart towards your desired outcome,
Okay.
while giving them the illusion of control.
Okay, so you're making them think
Yes.
that they're in control.
They're designed to make the other person think through the situation and come up with their own solutions.
So it's like reverse psychology for negotiation.
Exactly, because we all know
Yeah,
people are much more likely to follow through on a plan
Right.
they feel they've created themselves.
makes sense.
And a key element of calibrated questions
Okay,
is that they often start with how or what.
okay,
So instead of saying, you need to do this,
right.
you ask, how can we make this happen? Or what needs to happen for this to work for you?
So you're shifting the focus from demands
Yes.
to collaboration.
Exactly.
I like that. Do you have an example? Do you have any examples from the book
Sure.
of how these calibrated questions work in action?
Voss tells a great story
Yeah.
about using calibrated questions in a much more relatable scenario.
Okay.
Buying a used truck.
Buys a used truck, okay?
He went to a dealership, found the truck he wanted,
Okay.
and then he let the salesman take the lead.
Okay, so he wasn't like,
He wasn't laying down his cards right away.
right. He was playing it cool,
Playing it cool, gathering intel.
classic Voss style.
Classic Voss, and he listened carefully, using those mirroring and labeling techniques we talked about
Right.
to build rapport and gather information.
Okay, so when the salesman named his price,
Yeah,
did Voss jump in with like a lowball offer?
not at all.
Okay.
He waited for the salesman to name his price.
Okay.
And when he did, Voss used a classic negotiation tactic.
Oh, what was that?
The flinch?
The flinch.
Have you heard of this?
I have heard of this, yeah.
That nonverbal cue,
Yeah.
that slight wince or look of disappointment,
Right.
that signals you're not thrilled with the offer.
Oh, yeah.
But the key is to do it subtly,
Right.
without coming across as overly dramatic or offended.
You don't want to be like, oh my God.
Voss simply gave a slight frown
Okay.
and said something like, that's a bit more than I was hoping to spend.
So he kept it calm and collected,
Calm and collected.
which probably threw the salesman off balance a little bit.
Exactly. And then he followed up with a perfectly placed, calibrated question.
What did he say?
How am I supposed to do that?
Wow.
He shifted the burden of finding a solution onto the salesman.
Okay, so he's not demanding a lower price.
Right.
He's asking the salesman to help him make it work.
Exactly. It's a subtle invitation to collaborate.
I see.
And did the salesman budge?
I'm on the edge of my seat here.
Slowly but surely.
Okay.
They went back and forth with Voss staying firm but polite,
Okay.
using that potent combination of labels,
Yes.
mirrors, and calibrated questions
Yes.
to steer the negotiation towards his desired outcome.
Did he get the truck?
He drove off in that truck,
He got the truck.
feeling pretty darn good about the price he negotiated.
That's awesome.
Real-world application, folks.
Real-world application.
This is proof that these techniques aren't just for hostage situations.
Right.
They can help us get a better deal on that used car,
Used car.
negotiate a raise, or even score a cheaper cable package.
I love it.
And remember, Voss emphasizes that the goal isn't to win at all costs.
Right.
It's about finding a solution that works for both parties
Right?
while preserving the relationship.
That's key.
Speaking of preserving relationships, Voss also talks about the importance of understanding
Yes.
the different types of negotiators you might encounter.
Okay.
He calls them analysts, accommodators, and assertives.
Okay, so 3 main types.
Before we explore these different personalities, let's
Yeah.
take a quick pause
Okay.
to remind you
Yes.
that you're listening to Arena of Wisdom's book review time.
Yes.
If you're loving this deep dive into Never Split the Difference, be sure to hit that subscribe button
Yes.
and share this video with your negotiation-challenged friends.
Absolutely.
Now back to those negotiator types.
Okay, let's break it down.
Okay.
First up, the analyst.
Okay.
What are they like at the negotiating table?
Analysts are all about logic, data, and thoroughness. They want all the information before making a move. They love spreadsheets,
Trust.
results, and tastefully crafted arguments. They're
Okay.
methodical, deliberate, and not easily swayed by emotions.
So they're the ones that come to the meeting
Yes.
armed to a PowerPoint
PowerPoint.
and a stack of research papers.
Exactly. They want to analyze every detail and make sure they're getting the best possible deal.
Mm-hmm.
They can be tough negotiators,
Yeah.
but they're also fair-minded.
Okay.
They respect a well-reasoned argument and appreciate transparency.
So you'd want an analyst on your side
Yeah,
in like a complex business deal or something.
totally.
What about accommodators?
Accommodators are the relationship builders of the negotiation world.
Okay.
They're empathetic,
Mm-hmm.
prioritize harmony, and genuinely want to find solutions
Okay.
that work for everyone.
They're like the peacemakers.
They are. They're fantastic listeners
Okay.
and will go the extra mile to make sure everyone feels heard and understood.
Mm-hmm. So they smooth over the
They
conflict.
do.
Yeah,
That
they're-
bring people together.
Exactly. They're skilled at finding common ground.
Okay.
and building consensus.
But their desire to please can sometimes backfire.
It can.
Right.
They might give away too much
Hmm.
or agree to something that doesn't truly align with their needs. So it's that classic struggle
It is.
of being agreeable and advocating for yourself.
Yes, finding that sweet spot between collaboration and assertiveness.
Okay, what about assertives?
Assertives are, well, as the name suggests, assertive.
Okay,
They're confident, direct, and driven to achieve their goals.
okay,
They're not afraid to push back,
okay.
challenge assumptions,
Mhm.
and drive the negotiation forward.
So they take charge.
They do.
Right.
They can be very persuasive and are often seen as natural leaders.
Okay.
They thrive in high-pressure situations and aren't afraid to voice their opinions.
Okay, so they're not afraid of conflict.
Not at all, but their strong personality
Yeah.
can sometimes rub people the wrong way. They might come across as too aggressive or domineering,
Okay.
especially if they're not careful.
So knowing these different bargaining styles, how does that help us
Yeah.
in our own negotiations?
Voss argues that the key is to be adaptable,
Okay.
like being a negotiation chameleon,
Okay.
blending in and adjusting your style to match the person across the table.
Okay.
So if you're dealing with an analyst, come prepared with data and logic.
Okay.
If it's an accommodator, focus on building rapport and finding common ground.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're facing an assertive, be confident and ready to stand your ground.
So it's about being flexible
Yes,
and using the right tools for the job,
the right tools for the negotiator.
the right tools for the negotiate.
And don't forget the power of observation.
Okay.
Pay attention to how the other person communicates,
Right.
their body language, their tone of voice.
Maroon? Yeah.
These subtle cues can give you valuable insights into their negotiating style.
So it's like you're becoming a negotiation detective,
Exactly.
piecing together the clues to crack the case.
The more you understand the person you're negotiating with,
Yeah?
the better equipped you'll be to find a solution
Okay.
that works for everyone.
Is there a best bargaining style?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Voss doesn't necessarily advocate for one style over another.
Okay.
He emphasizes that each style has its own strengths and weaknesses.
Okay.
The key is to be aware of your own natural tendencies
Right.
and to develop the ability to flex and adapt to different situations.
So self-awareness is key.
It is.
Knowing your own strengths and weaknesses.
Right.
And then being able to kind of adjust
Adapt.
your approach based on who you're dealing with.
Exactly. And that's something that comes with practice and reflection.
Okay.
Voss encourages readers to think back on their own negotiation experiences and identify patterns in their behavior.
So like reviewing game tape.
He even provides a helpful tool for this in the book
Oh, what's that?
called the Negotiation One Sheet, which is a concise summary of all his key tactics and strategies.
I like that.
It's like a cheat sheet for
Yeah.
negotiation success.
Like having Voss in your corner,
It is.
whispering negotiation secrets in your ear.
Speaking of having Voss in your corner, remember, you're listening to Arena of Wisdom's Book Review Time.
Yes.
Where we break down the most delightful books out there.
Right.
And give you the tools to level up your life.
And if you're finding these negotiation tips as valuable as we are,
Yeah.
don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share it with your friends.
Absolutely.
And we're back for the final part of our deep dive into Never Split the Difference. It's been an amazing journey exploring the world of hostage negotiation and all these powerful tactics we can use in our everyday lives.
It really has been. One of the most valuable lessons I've taken away is the importance of finding those black swans.
Oh yeah, those unexpected pieces of information that can completely change the game.
Exactly.
We touched on this a little bit earlier with that bank robbery,
We did.
but it's so crucial that it deserves a deeper look.
Absolutely.
So remind us what black swans are and why they're so important in negotiation.
A black swan is that hidden piece of information.
Okay.
It's the unexpected insight that can shift the entire power dynamic of a negotiation.
Okay, so it's like that ha-ha moment where suddenly everything clicks into place.
And Voss argues that we often miss these black swans.
Okay.
Because we're so focused on our own agenda.
Right.
And our own assumptions.
We're not really listening for those subtle cues.
Right.
Those little details.
Seemingly insignificant details.
Yeah.
That can actually reveal a whole new perspective.
So it's about being more attuned to what the other person is saying,
Yes.
both verbally and non-verbally.
Yes.
Reading between the lines.
Exactly. Voss tells a fascinating story about a real estate negotiation
Okay.
where his student was interested in buying a building.
Mm-hmm.
And he was initially hesitant to challenge the broker's asking price,
Okay.
feeling like he didn't have much leverage.
That's a common feeling,
It is.
especially when you're dealing with someone who seems like they hold all the cards.
Exactly.
Right.
But Voss encouraged his student to keep digging.
Okay.
Ask those calibrated questions and look for those black swans.
Right.
That might reveal a crack in the broker's facade.
So what happened?
During their conversation, the broker casually mentioned that buildings like the one his student was interested in were really popular
Okay.
with students at the local university
Okay.
because 60% of the student body lived off campus.
Okay, I see where this is going.
Do you?
Yeah, that was a gold mine.
It was.
It was a key constraint.
Yes.
A limited supply of similar buildings.
Exactly. And it also highlighted a strong demand
Right.
from a specific demographic,
Good
students.
guess, yeah.
So armed with this black swan knowledge, the student was able to make a much more compelling case for his offer.
Because now he could argue that because of the limited supply
Yeah.
and high demand, his offer was very reasonable.
Exactly. He was using that black swan to his advantage,
Wow.
shifting the power dynamic
That's incredible.
and ultimately securing a better deal.
It's like finding a hidden treasure map that leads you straight to negotiation gold.
It is.
But how do we get better at spotting these black swans?
Voss emphasizes the importance of active listening,
Okay.
not just hearing the words,
Right.
but truly absorbing the information
Mm-hmm.
and looking for those inconsistencies, those unexpected details
Yes.
that don't quite fit the narrative.
It's like being a detective piecing together the clues
It
and
is.
solve the mystery.
And remember those calibrated questions we talked about?
Yeah.
They can be incredibly helpful in uncovering these black swans.
Okay.
By asking those open-ended questions that encourage the other person to elaborate, you're creating space
Right.
for those unexpected insights to emerge.
It's like you're casting a wider net
Exactly.
and you're increasing your chances of catching that black swan.
It's about being curious,
Okay.
observant, and open to the possibility that there's more to the story than meets the eye.
This entire deep dive into Never Split the Difference has been eye-opening.
It has.
I feel like it's really changed the way I think about negotiation.
I agree. Voss has given us a whole new framework for approaching negotiation.
Okay.
One that's rooted in empathy, strategy, and a deep understanding of human behavior.
So it's not about manipulation or trickery.
No.
It's about finding those win-win solutions
Exactly.
where everyone feels good about the outcome.
And if you haven't read Never Split the Difference yet, I highly recommend adding it to your reading list.
Yes, it's a game changer.
It is.
And if you're enjoying this kind of insightful content, be sure to subscribe to Arena of Wisdom
Yes.
for more engaging book reviews.
Deep dives into the world of knowledge.
And we'd love to hear from you.
We would.
What are some books you'd like us to review on future episodes of Book Review Time?
Leave a comment below and let us know your suggestions. We're always on the lookout for great books to help our audience learn and grow.
And don't forget to like and share this video with anyone who you think could benefit from Voss's incredible insights.
The more we share knowledge, the better we all become.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Until next time, happy negotiating.
See you later.